outskirts of the national capital today, black limousines with darkened windows converged on a hotel where private security guards imposed ironclad control. The limos carried royalty, political power brokers, and industrial titans to a secret meeting that will last all weekend. It's known as the Bilderberg Group. Could their objective be world domination?
We are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised.
Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge, a new era.
As 13 famílias que dominam o mundo e que compõem a essência dos Illuminatis, elas existem desde o período babilônico. Agora, em 1776, é que foi oficialmente instituído o Grupo Illuminatis, exatamente no dia 1º de maio.
Well, I was in the FBI for 27.5 years. And at the time of my retirement in 1979, I was the senior special agent in charge of the FBI Los Angeles office. It involves prostitution, it involves occults, pedophilia. The bottom line is to take over the country and the world.
For what, though?
Power, greed. This goes back over 200 years, back to 1776, with the establishment of an organization known as the Illuminati. And if your listeners don't know what the Illuminati is, they need to run down to the library and look it up and do some research, because on May the 1st, 1776, a fellow named Adam Weishaupt, German, set forth 25 goals at the request of the Rothschild group that they needed to initiate in order to take over the world. We're talking about destroy the sovereignty of countries and destroy religions. And that's where it really started in modern day. And right today, believe it or not, and we have the documentation for this, we are probably 90%, their goals have probably been filled at the great rate of about 90%.
Qual o objetivo dos Illuminatis? Creio que seja uma das principais perguntas nesse DVD. E a resposta é simples e única: criar a nova ordem mundial. Quando eles começaram a trabalhar nesse projeto? Começaram na Babilônia, começaram na Torre de Babel. Quando o Senhor Deus confundiu as línguas na Torre de Babel, aquele povo foi espalhado pelo mundo e fundaram hierarquias na Babilônia. Da Babilônia, Grécia. Da Grécia, Egito. E do Egito, mais recentemente, mas não muito recente assim, migraram para a Europa. Roma foi um grande império. E de Roma, a Grã-Bretanha. Da Grã-Bretanha, o último e derradeiro passo: os Estados Unidos da América. Construídos, montado, projetado pelos Illuminatis, com todos os detalhes pré-estabelecidos.
The Illuminati was the basis for what we call today the Colombian faction. The Colombian faction of the Illuminati came here. We get today Columbia Space Shuttle, Columbia Movies, Columbia Television, Columbia Records, everything, Columbia University. As a matter of fact, Columbia TV, Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS. What is the symbol for CBS? It's the all-seeing eye. And that's why our government is in the District of Columbia, because these guys own our government. They print our money, and they own not only the government, but they own you. You are their property. So, in other words, these guys print the money, they run the country, and they own you, and they own everything around it. And so they make the laws, And that's why they can decide who can kill who and who can get away with who and who can get away with whatever, because they make the laws and they decide, all right? As I said to you before, there are 13 layers in this pyramid. There are 13 letters in Coeptus. But 13 is a very important number to this secret society. There are 13 stripes. There are 13 stars here, which make up the Star of David. There are 13 berries. There are 13 leaves, 13 arrows. There are 32 feathers.
The Illuminati was founded on May 1st, 1776, by Adam Weishaupt, a professor at Ingolstadt University. Weishaupt obviously had been a serious student of the occult, for many of its bizarre features and symbols were incorporated into his organization. Weishaupt had been active in the Masonic lodges of Germany, and found in them the perfect vehicle for recruiting into his secret order, which he described publicly as the highest level of Freemasonry. The Illuminati was formally incorporated into the Masonic lodges at the Congress of Wilhelmsbad in 1780. But by the time the member had advanced to the level of presbyter, or priest, his oath of absolute secrecy and obedience had become deadly serious. Only then was he allowed finally to see the ultimate goal of the order. It was the destruction of all religion and the destruction of all independent governments, replaced by a new world order, a world government ruled from behind the scenes by the illuminated ones.
Pois bem, os Illuminatis existem desde a fundação do mundo. Estavam na Torre de Babel. Foram oficializados através de um jovem estudante de ocultismo em 1776, exatamente no dia 1º de maio. Seria por isso que o Dia do Trabalhador é comemorado nessa data? Não sei. Esses Illuminatis se reuniram em um hotel chamado Bilderberg, na Holanda, e formaram um grupo contendo aproximadamente 120 pessoas.
People who are members of the Bilderberg group are also the people who do control the Federal Reserve. These are all facts.
In 1954, the elite of the planet met in secret at the Bilderberg Hotel in Oosterbeek, Holland. The Bilderberg Group would later admit that their mission was the formation of the EU. Once the EU was established, under the guise of trade deals, a North American Union and Asian Union would be formed. The three interlocking superstates formed the core of the global government, while the United Nations would serve as a world regulatory and enforcement body over the Third World subregions. The Bilderberg Group consists of the heads of all of the managing roundtable groups that steer individual countries. Picture the elite power structure of the world as a giant pyramid, with only the elite of the elite at the tip-top of the capstone. The group has been so secretive that until the mid-1980s, the controlled corporate media denied its existence. With the rise of the alternative media, their stranglehold on information has begun to slip.
Major media would deny this. Let's look at the ownership of the major media. Let's look at the roster of, say, the Bilderberg meeting. Katharine Graham owns the Washington Post. Katharine Graham has been to the Bilderbergers. Conrad Black, one of the largest media barons in Canada and Europe, has not only been to these meetings, but he has hosted the meeting just a few years ago.
Every year they meet in secret, and there is an absolute news blackout. There is never anything reported in any of those papers.
O que exatamente eles tratam nessas reuniões? Tratam de planos e metas que dizem respeito especificamente a você. Dominaram os bancos. A moeda mundial está nas mãos dos Illuminatis desde muito tempo atrás. Dominaram os meios de comunicação, rádio, televisão, jornal, revista. Tudo isso pertence aos Illuminatis, no mundo todo. Dominam também a política mundial. Só é eleito quem os Illuminatis querem na esfera federal.